So as you can see, I spent a good part of this morning running around, had to go into town to hit several grocery stores and also fill up the truck with gas because I'm going to be getting ready to head out tomorrow. Now, in a previous episode here, I talked a little bit about, but didn't really fill in everything, the severe food allergies that I have and why the Airstream actually is very helpful for travel and work for me. So back in 2005, I got just slightly sick. All right, I got extremely ill, had a terrible year. 2006, the physicians back in New England thought they had a diagnosis of an eosinophilic disorder. And since then, through just 2017 here, been searching for some real answers. Finally got some actual real answers in June, July of 2017. I have Hashimoto's, so it's an autoimmune disorder. It has to do with your thyroid. So we're working on that now and treating it and dealing with it. But one thing that came along with all this, starting back in 05, 06, was I've become severely allergic to a lot of foods. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. So wheat, corn, soy, dairy, eggs, fish, shellfish, peanuts, sesame, some tree nuts, but not all tree nuts. And I'm forgetting some things now. I've got my list, but the really bad ones, honey, sesame, bee stings, and peanuts. Those things will just kill you. Well, me. The other ones leave me uncomfortable, too sick for a couple of days. Sometimes rashes and swelling, sometimes gut issues and chest issues. But for peanuts and sesame and bee stings and honey, the reactions are pretty violent. It's anaphylactic shock, so the whole thing there. You swell up like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters, and you stop breathing. So I carry EpiPens and chewable Benadryl with me everywhere. So I've got a bag sitting right over on the couch with my drone in it. It also has an EpiPen and chewable Benadryl, and then my Camelback, same thing. So with all these food allergies combined with some of the food restrictions that I've learned about since I've learned about the Hashimoto's, I'm a horrible guest if you invite me over for a cookout. So don't invite me for a cookout. Well, I always like visiting with people. It's just I don't know if something's cross-contaminated with something else. So normally if I get invited out somewhere and people are dining, I stay back and watch. Some of the allergies are severe enough, like sesame, for instance. A couple of years ago, before I knew I had a sesame allergy, I breathed in some sesame oil. Fortunately, we were 2 miles away from an ER, and I had my chewable Benadryl and my Eppies with me. But bottom line, food's actually a little scary to me sometimes. So if you ever do invite me to a cookout and I say no, it's nothing personal at all. I just need to know everything that goes into the food, because the end result of not being cautious is death. And if that sounds a little over dramatic to you, a friend of mine called me a couple years ago to make sure that I had my EpiPen with me everywhere I went. He was checking in with me because one of his best friends from college had just died. His friend went to a restaurant, had severe peanut allergies. It was actually a steakhouse. And he asked the waiter specifically to make sure no peanut oil, no peanuts, no anything, because of the severity of his allergy. So in the end, for that poor guy, he died in the restaurant. Used 2 EpiPens and still passed away. So it's a real serious thing, and I know a lot of people think allergies are in folks' heads or whatever. The first time I had an allergic reaction to a bee sting was when I was 17 years old, working at SeaWorld in Orlando. I was just starting college. And I got stung by a bee, and a tourist came up to me to ask me if I was okay. And I didn't really understand why they were asking me till I looked down at my hand where I was stung, and it was swollen up like a softball. And that had gone all the way up my arm, into my face, into my neck. The worst part of that the EMT that picked me up when I got back to the commissary area was absolutely adorable, and I was totally looking like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So that was just a sad, sad day because she was stunning and I looked terrible. So no phone numbers were exchanged. All right, so I'm probably going to put the list up and then we'll see some more running around. But so the Airstream is awesome for travel for me since I work in travel because my kitchen is with me. Restaurants are just an absolute no-go for me now. I mean, just think of the list I just gave you and ask yourself to come up with something that doesn't have those items in it. Now think of a fast food restaurant or a restaurant, even a high-end restaurant. Can they cut out wheat, corn, soy, dairy, eggs, fish, shellfish, sesame, peanut, honey? Something slips through. It really does. So I'm also the guy in the grocery aisle who is reading everything, and I always move over to make sure that you can get past me, I promise. Well, all right, we'll probably take a look at the pantry real quick because I do make several trips a week to the grocery stores that have the different foods that I still can have, which is really limited. So my life is beef, chicken, turkey, sometimes rice, even though rice isn't really great for Hashimoto's. But it's a strange diet, but it's a diet that I'm learning to live with, and this is going to be an evolving process. But so now you know some of the background as to why I do like traveling with the Airstream and bringing my own portable kitchen with me. It really is literally a lifesaver. So.